Dog parks. A big open space where your pup can run free, make new friends, and burn off some energy. You can sit back, relax, and meet some new friends. It reminds me of that playground I watch my kids playing at the park. I'm able to sit on the bench and relax until, of course, there's that one unruly kid that ends up stomping on my daughter's finger, or that other kid that insists on pushing everyone on his way up the slide. Of course, my relaxing afternoon is now stressful as I hover over like a helicopter parent, ready to pounce on that unruly kid who's having the time of his life at my kid's expense as she cries to me about her swollen finger.
Charlie bit me.
Dog parks are no different, and after doing some research, I'm quite surprised how unanimous the dog training community is in regards to opposing them. Many will straight out say you should never take your dog there.
Just never go there, Simba.
But some will allow it with some extreme caution. Today, I'm going to give you a balanced view to share my experience with Gandalf. The truth is, the dog park was a big part of his life when he was young. But if I were to do it again, would I spend just as much time as we spent in his first 4 years of his life? I'll give you my final verdict at the end of this video. In the meantime, comment below on whether if you take your pup to dog parks and whether if you have any concerns. Like most things, dog parks come with their pros and cons. So today, we're diving into the good, the bad, and everything in between when it comes to the dog parks. Here's the pros and cons of dog parks. Let's get started. Let's start with the pros because there are definitely some great things about dog parks. First up, socialization. Dog parks offer an incredible opportunity for your dog to interact with other pups. It's one of the easiest ways to expose your dogs to a variety of breeds, sizes, and personalities. For a well-rounded social dog, these interactions can be really beneficial. After getting his shots, we began routinely taking Gandalf to the dog park where he ended up meeting many of his best friends. While many have come and gone over the years, there have always been several dogs that he absolutely adored. It was the cutest thing when he spotted his buddy Freddy from far away and would dart over to greet him. The two of them each got into their bouncing hops because they were so excited to see each other and would wrestle endlessly for half an hour straight. Then there's old Winston, who is half blind but always so willing to let Gandalf harass him and indulge him with a wrestling match. And of course there is Clover. If Gandalf had a girlfriend, she'd probably be the one. These were just some of the few friends that Gandalf met over the years. On top of that, we got to meet many folks that we would never have met in the first place. You'll get an opportunity to meet folks outside of your typical circle of friends from all walks of life. For example, we got to know quite a few retired friends at the dog park where they shared many stories about their lives and experiences. Another big pro, the space. Most of us don't have huge backyards, and dog parks can provide the extra room for your dog to really let their stride go. Gandalf especially lets his herding instinct go at the dog park and will often find the closest dog that looks like a sheep and begin chasing. This is where I can also throw a long bomb for the frisbee, and with the added competition, Gandalf will sprint as hard as he could, outpacing any game that I play with him one-on-one. I can guarantee that after a session at the dog park, Gandalf will be tired and ready for a nice long nap for the evening. Like I said earlier, the first 4 years of Gandalf's life consisted of going to the dog park on a daily basis for an hour or even 2 if we come across friends. Before we had kids, after work, that would be the first place we would take Gandalf to let out his pent-up energy from being in his pen all day. Alright, now let's get real. Let's talk about the other side of the coin, the cons on dog parks. One of the biggest risks in dog parks is the potential for conflict. Not all dogs are well socialized, and unfortunately, not all dog owners are attentive. It's not uncommon for scuffles to break out, and what starts as a playful roughhousing can sometimes escalate. If your dog isn't comfortable around other dogs or tends to be more reserved, a dog park might not be the best fit. Out of the years I've been at the dog park, there was one bad incident where a pit bull locked his jaw on a black lab. It was a chaotic scene where literally the owner of the lab was hitting the pit bull with his chuck-it stick as hard as he could, trying to get the dog off and release him, but it wouldn't. While the dog survived, do you know it was significantly injured, and what ensued was a terrible shouting match between the owners. The problem is that there are truly different expectations and perspectives of dog owners. Some dog owners are hypersensitive, where one little bit of contact is too significant, while others will insist to let their dogs work it out. You never know who or what will be at the park. Some dogs might not be vaccinated, others might be overly aggressive, and you might even encounter less than responsible owners who don't clean up after their pets or don't intervene when their dogs are a little bit too rough. I've mentioned previously that I actually have to keep a close eye on Gandalf due to his herding instinct. While some owners like Gandalf initiating a chase, others are not tolerant of it. He likes to nip at the scruff of the neck of the dogs. While he doesn't bite other dogs, some owners don't tolerate that behavior seeing their dog herded by Gandalf. Therefore, I have to be vigilant to call him off. Additionally, I have to be extra vigilant if he begins herding a dog that I am unfamiliar with in the event that the other dog is not tolerant of being chased or would be willing to retaliate. In his first 3 years of life, Gandalf was like an innocent little puppy running around greeting all dogs. However, an incident occurred where he was pinned down by an aggressive dog and Mom had to pull the dog off, which I believe forever changed his demeanor with new dogs. To this day, Gandalf is not fond of other dogs sniffing him, and I believe it may be linked to the one incident at the dog park which made him fearful with unfamiliar dogs. What was unfortunate was that out of the hundreds of times we went to the dog park over the course of several years, it took one day to completely change him forever. Nowadays, we are extremely sensitive to Gandalf encountering other dogs in the neighborhood because he has become reactive, despite all of the socialization we've done through the years. The pandemic lockdowns took it one step further, causing us to have prolonged isolation, which now has solidified his negative behavior. While nowadays we rarely go to the dog park, we choose to go to the ones where smaller dogs are separated from big dogs to avoid disaster. Typically, if the local Corgi group notifies us of a gathering, we may make an appearance to catch up with old friends, but those opportunities are seldom. If I do go, I end up diverting Gandalf's attention to me with his frisbee. So, if you catch me at Corgi Beach Day, that is why you'll always see me with Gandalf along the water playing frisbee with him. I'm there to manage his energy and divert his attention towards me as he plays alongside other Corgis. He'll just end up barking at all the other Corgis, but that's manageable. Okay, so if I were to do it again, would I allow Gandalf to go to dog parks? The answer is yes, but not to the level I did previously. We had thought that socializing Gandalf at the dog park was always beneficial. The more dog he meets, the better, right? But as one dog trainer told me, dogs could be over-socialized. In the same way that bad company corrupts good character, not all dogs at the dog park are outstanding role models for a puppy to learn from. I'm sure many of Gandalf's tendencies today were nurtured by poor interactions with some dogs at the dog park. If I choose to go to the dog park, I would definitely try to arrange a play date with a dog he is familiar with. I would also try to find a time when the park is not as crowded. I stick with the side where smaller dogs are because it would just take one incident to completely jeopardize Gandalf's safety and well-being. I would be extremely vigilant, not only for other dogs, but also to keep an eye out on Gandalf's behavior. I want to contribute to the dog park positively rather than make it more stressful for others. If everyone showed the same level of respect and responsibility over their dogs, I think it would be a much better place. At the end of the day, every dog is different. It's all about finding what works best for you, your schedule, and your furry friend. Whether it's the dog park or your own backyard, the most important thing is that your dog is happy, healthy, and safe. I completely understand why dog trainers absolutely do not like dog parks, and now that Gandalf has had his side effects from his experience, I tend to agree with them. What are your thoughts? Do you take your dogs to the dog park? I know this could be controversial, but I'd love to know. Please comment below and share your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more dog training tips and adventures with Gandalf. We'll see you in the next video.